Klipsch. To say I'm just a fan would be a major heavy understatement. If I had a truck full of money, I probably would buy every Klipsch speaker that they gave. But as of right now, as far as my small collection is concerned, I have the Klipsch R51PMs, the Klipsch R50Ms, the KD52C, and the R120 SW subwoofer. And now to my collection, I add these bad boys, the Klipsch ProMedia Lumina. Now, for a lot of you, the ProMedia name is famous. It is one of the best 2.1 channel computer speaker systems out on the market as part of what I like to call the big three, or what everybody likes to call the big three, really, between Klipsch, Harman Kardon, and Logitech. So, is the Lumina, as the name suggests, only about the lights, or is there more to it? Welcome back, folks, to another review here on the Spacey Tropics review channel. It's your boy Andy here. I'm on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and I hope with this video, if you're new here, you'd be someone else to subscribe and come with me on this journey to reach that goal. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this video for the ProMedia Lumina. So this is my first video back after this short little hiatus. I just became a dad of 2, and as you can see, I'm trying to do some remodeling here just to get things going for my little mini studio and work and so on and so forth. So it's been some time. However, it also gave me some time to reflect and maybe try to remodel some things as far as how I script these videos out. So things are going to look a little bit different from now on, and hopefully it just keeps you guys a little bit more engaged and, like the video. So we're going to start off here with some preliminary info about the Lumina. We're looking at about 100 watts RMS, so 200 watts peak, give or take. Not a lot of power for something that is almost $400 after tax. However, as you will hear from the sound tests, do not let that 100 watts RMS fool you. Frequency response is somewhere in the realm of 40 hertz to about 20,000 hertz. I'm assuming they couldn't drop it down to the full range that humans hear. Humans hear from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. In this case, I'm assuming they didn't go from that 40 to the 20 because of the size of the subwoofer, which is at around 6.5 inches. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, but that's kind of the way I feel. You got Bluetooth 5.3 on board. You got an auxiliary input, and you have a USB-C input as well to connect to your computer for a direct USB-C connection. The nice thing that Klipsch does is that on the back of the right speaker, which is the main speaker that has all the controls and functionality, they put an additional USB-C port on the back there. That is not for connecting to the computer, but for charging your device. So that USB-C port that's taken up by the speaker isn't fully taken up. You can still charge off of the ProMedia themselves. That's a good addition. Great job, Klipsch. The satellites feature a 3-inch mid-driver, Klipsch's Micro Track-Trix 1-inch tweeter. You guys know Klipsch, they're synonymous for their Track-Trix horn on their bookshelf speakers and bigger speakers. Well, this is just the small one to fit the Lumina. As I said before, the subwoofer is measuring at 6.5 inches and is side firing. Now, I usually associate side firing woofers with soundbar setups, but from the sound test, it works here. And last but not least, it's in the name, Lumina. This thing adds a full, nice, big, bright light panel on the back of the speaker. Full RGB, full controllability, and, it's got some pulsing features and whatever the case may be. Yeah, it is full on party mode. Okay, so with all of that said and prelim info out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the sound test. If you're new here, the way I like to do sound tests is as such. I make the music through my iPad to do all of these sound tests. It's to help me avoid copyrights and so on and so forth down the line or from the past or whatever the case may be, so that you guys can actually just hear the speaker out and see what you think about it. Now, I don't consider myself to be an audiophile or an audio engineer or any of those things, but I do try my best to make stereo songs and mono songs just to give you guys a good, a good representation of what the speaker would sound like overall. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the sound test. Y'all heard it for yourselves. 100 watts, what? Definitely doesn't sound like 100 watts. This thing is loud. This thing is punchy. This thing is fantastic. And given the EQ in the app is even better. It just gives you full functionality of what you need. And then what's nice about it is it also gives you some sound profiles between that virtual surround versus like a movie surround versus just normal music. Klipsch outdid themselves here with the minimal power they gave us in this speaker system. So amazing job, Klipsch. Great job. Let's go ahead and talk about 5 things that stand out to me. Number 1 is obviously going to be that sound at 100 watts RMS. Very proud of Klipsch. Very good job here. I didn't think you could make 100 watts sound like that. And well, yeah, here we are. 100 watts sound like that. So good job. Kudos to you, Klipsch. Next up that stands out to me, obviously that LED panel in the back. It's awesome. It's bright. It's vibrant. But I say bright unless you have, and if you could see back here, some of these light bars or light towers from Govee or something like that, then they kind of get outshined. But if you don't have them on and you just have the speakers on, well, yeah, they're nice, bright, fully controllable for brightness, fully controllable for what color you want, and just what type of feature you want the lights to be on. Now, I'm not one to advertise, start using apps and so on and so forth with your devices, but I know it's modern day times, I know it's modern day technology, and truth be told, I can't get that anymore. You know, I'm a little bit of an old soul, but you can't just get something that works out of the box anymore. It needs an app to function, and in this case, the app that comes to function the speakers has been made extremely well. Good job, Klipsch. Everything is easy to read. Everything is big, bold, and bright. It is a super well thought out app for even your grandma to use. Another thing that stands out, the USB port in the back of the right channel of the satellite speaker. Yeah, great job. I mean, I can't expect it to be data or have data pass through with that. But the fact that you at least let me charge my device, so, the USB connection that I lost isn't completely lost, is awesome. Thank you. And then last but not least, and I think this one stands out the most to me, right after the sound, the tilt feature. What? What? Great job, Klipsch. Whoever thought about the built-in bass having a tilt feature? Amazing. Give that man a raise, please. Now let's go over a couple of things that I don't like about this thing. Number one, the price. For almost $400 after tax, for only 100 watts RMS, again, sounds great, but for almost $400? Nah, come on, guys. Come on. We fumbled the ball on this one. This could have been $299 easy. Easy. And many more people would have bought this thing all day long instead of it being a full $380 plus tax. That's crazy to me. Next up, where is my subwoofer protection? That woofer is exposed and side firing. If it was firing down on my carpet, then I'd be like, okay, whatever, I guess, it's still at risk, but not as at risk as it is side firing against the wall. There is going to be a chance where somebody is going to mess this up, put it up against the wall, some sharp object's going to fall near it, and pop, 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 it's gone. Okay? It was really easy to include some type of protection on the side. Heck, even if it's a mesh protection, as I have seen on some subwoofers for soundbar setups, just put something there. There is no play pause button. If you thought that round button on the top of the right hand speaker was a play pause button, you are sorely and severely mistaken. That button has two functions and two functions only. To toggle the brightness between 100, 60, 30, and 0 for the LED, and to press and hold to the ends of time to turn the speaker off. And I say it like that because you have to wait at least 5 seconds or more of pressing and holding that button to turn off the speakers from the speakers. I believe you can go into the app and turn it off from the app, but I don't think everybody would want to go in the app every single time just to turn off a speaker. If a button is available, why not just push the button, right? And then last but not least, again, I know the power, yes, it may seem less, but it sounded great, so on and so forth. The speaker that came before this, the Klipsch ProMedia Heritage, had 220 watts peak, 110 watts RMS. I know 10 watts may not seem like anything, but an additional 10 watts of RMS power could have done something. Could have made this a little bit more bright, a little bit more loud, a little bit more something. Maybe that extra 10 watts could have bumped us up from a 6.5 inch to a 7-inch woofer or an 8-inch woofer. I don't know. But the point is, the outgoing model has more power than the incoming model. That doesn't make sense. All right, let's talk about some things that I'd like to change. Definitely got to put a cover of some sort on there to protect the woofer. Maybe I might 3D print one. As you guys can see, I have my 3D printer in the background now. Next up, power. Again, I know the 100 watts sounds great, but the Logitech Z625, which is competition for this, and that has been selling forever, since the dawn of man at this point itself, since Logitech is too lazy to go ahead and update this thing after 10 plus years. So the Z625 still has more power than these Klipsch ProMedias. It blows my mind that, again, for a 10 plus year old speaker like the Z625, it's still rocking 200 watts RMS and 400 watts peak power. Klipsch had every opportunity to give us a massive power out the gate, and they chose to leave sleeping dogs lie instead. I think another thing that I'd change is to put an HDMI ARC connection on the back of this thing. I think Klipsch really dropped the ball on that. They could have put HDMI ARC. There are people that are going to game and use this with a TV, and that ARC setup would have been mint. It would have been awesome. Lastly, give me options. This was the perfect time to introduce a 5.1 system, since something like the Logitech Z506 was discontinued, and the Z906 maybe just too much for some folks in terms of how much power it puts. A nice mid-level 5.1 system delivering roughly 200 watts RMS, 400 watts peak would be absolutely amazing and perfect competition for the SteelSeries Arena 9, which costs an astronomical $680 for a 5.1 system that isn't even pushing 500 watts RMS. It's 300 watts RMS, and according to SteelSeries, 500 watts peak. The math ain't mathin' because technically speaking, 300 watts RMS equals 600 watts peak, which means maybe it only has 250 RMS. And SteelSeries is just trying to boast about incorrect performance numbers. Just a thing. I never said it was true, just my opinion. So, compared to the Z625, it has every modern day feature you can think of, but still lacks in power compared to the 625. Compared to something like the HK Soundsticks 4, yeah, even though it has less power than the Soundsticks 4, still much louder, much better. Soundsticks 4 review coming soon. And with as much wrong with the Soundsticks 4 as there is, the Soundsticks 5 has just been released now and fixes everything wrong with the 4. But I don't have the Soundsticks 5 just yet. If you guys want me to go ahead and review the Soundsticks 5, or heck, even the Aura Studio 5, or even the overpriced SteelSeries 9, Arena 9, why don't you go ahead and like the video? Around 30 to 40-ish plus likes, we'll go ahead and we'll get the Aura Studio 5. Anywhere from 40 to 59 likes or so, we'll get the Soundsticks 5. And I'm going to need some real commitment for you guys if you want the SteelSeries Arena 9, because it is super expensive, and as a dad of 2 now, I need to focus on the family and spend more money on the family than on speakers. So I need some real commitment if you guys want the Arena 9. 60 likes on this video, and I will get the Arena 9. Okay, let's get some final thoughts on the ProMedia Lumina. The Lumina right now is my favorite 2.1 channel system for the overall package. If we're looking for power, obviously the Z625 takes the cake with that. But if we're looking for modern day, we got something brand new. It's got the latest Bluetooth. It's got a good bunch of features on it. Yeah, the ProMedia Lumina, as far as 2.1 systems are concerned, is fantastic. Klipsch made this thing sound great, even with the small power that they gave it. It sounds awesome. It works great. Everything's flawless and knows how to cohesively bundle together with each other between the app and the speaker. And it's just a good buy if you can get it on sale. Don't buy it for $380. That's kind of overkill, again, for 100 watts RMS. If you can find this thing for anywhere from $299 to $320, yeah, definitely massively jump on that. No problems there. Just try not to spend close to $400 for this thing, and you'll be fine. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the little switch shakeup that I did here with some of this stuff. If you stuck around this far, please go ahead. Again, like I said, I'm on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. Please like the video. Share the video. You never know if somebody may need a little bit more information about the ProMedia Lumina. With that said, I'll catch y'all in the next one.